Welcome to Riverbend Talon on WBGZ, brought to you by the Halpin Music Company.
It's a Thursday night in the Riverbend Sea Shanty Sing-Along underway down at Morrison's Irish Pub until 9 o'clock, and Riverbend Talon on the air, brought to you by the Halpin Music Company. Mr. Matt Van Voorhis of Macias Insurance, and Pigpen, is there another sponsor yet?
Getting closer.
Okay, we'll get back to that in the next round. All right, Steve Ray Vaughan's in town. The Texas Flood at the Wild E Theater tonight from 7:30 to whenever. Across the line at Fast Eddie's until 10. We got Scott and Marlin until 9 o'clock at Big Daddy's in Edwardsville. The Four Dirty Astronauts get on stage at 7, go till 10 at the Stagger Inn again in Edwardsville. Travis Holt's underway at the Cabin at Judy Creek, and Glenn Carbon until 9. Hank Greenwald already underway up the Prairie Inn in Dorsey. They start at 5:30 up there. He'll go to 8:30, and then we got the Trophy Mules way down in Belleville at the Abbey Espresso Bar. They start at 7 o'clock. I let you on early there, Pigpen, and totally threw you off, didn't I?
No, man. It actually did, yeah. I was like, is he talking to me already? I hear voices. I hear birds.
We've had a few birds around here.
Oh man, yeah, it did kind of throw me off. I wasn't paying any attention to what was happening, like always. I haven't paid attention since 1983.
That's okay.
Oh, yeah, it is okay.
We're talking underneath you. Just
yeah. I was like, I do hear voices now for sure. You must have been talking to our guest.
One of them.
One of the guests, which we got two guests. First, a newcomer, first timer, gotta be. That's me. This is my first time meeting Amy. Amy, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much.
I received. See, now this is how this works. Just to prove the point that I don't pay attention to anything, and to prove the point that Josh Grassley's in 9 bands at least. I got a text a couple weeks ago from Matthew Murder.
Shout out.
I have told him my wife could get him down to Matthew Misdemeanor, or maybe Matthew Manslaughter. Probably Matthew Manslaughter.
Yeah. That's good.
So I get a text from Matthew Murder, and he says, "Hey, my friend Amy would like to come on your show and talk to you about her band K-Fight." And I was like, "Oh yeah, K-Fight. I remember that name. I've never seen him. I don't think. I'm trying to picture it all." And
we talked about him.
I know it. I know it. I mean, see, that's what I mean. I don't know what's going on in the world. So I immediately after I texted you and we set it up. I texted Dennis and said, "Hey, we got K-Fight on," and he immediately is like, "Joshua," and I was like, "What do you mean? Like the Joshua Tree, or like what are we talking about here?" And he's like, "It's Josh Grassley." I'm like, "Dude." And how many? So sitting right next to Amy. We're gonna come right back to Amy, but first I got to jump to Josh Grassley.
She's the focus.
Well, she's gonna be. We're gonna dive deep into the psyche of Amy here, real quick. But first I got to ask you, because when Dennis first just said Joshua, I'm like, it took me a minute till he had to say it. How many bands are you in at one time? Like currently, how many
bands? One at a time.
No, nah. I bet he's not. I bet he plays at 2 bands at the exact same time somehow.
Well,
so how many bands you got going? How many bands you got going?
There's really just one right now.
See, now that
with the potential of 2 variations.
I don't believe you, because we just announced. Sometimes it's clear, sometimes
it's foggy.
We just announced that. So how can you say, like, wasn't that like a month ago you played with those guys?
Maybe. So it's an evolution.
It's a rebranding.
So Amy joined the band, playing trumpet and singing.
Oh, okay. See, I am so excited right now.
And Tim, the lead guitar player from Modern Pasta, also joined the band.
Nice.
And so we've become Cave Fight.
Now,
obviously, I scream Cave Fight when you see me.
Yeah. And I want to point out to you, Pigpen, that on the air, before all this happened, we talked several times about Cave Fight because they played. And here's proof. I told you they're actually cave explorers.
We are. We do. We do.
For real. That's not a joke.
You saw that.
And how could you not remember that? How many bands have we had in here that actually explore caves and are called cave something? This is the only one.
Me not saying it didn't happen. Me just saying me don't remember.
You forget things?
Huh? No, seriously, here's part of it. Like, every week we do this, and every week we're talking to people, and it all melds together in my mind into this one
And
mush.
only one band explores caves.
Yeah, but it's hard
Hard
to
to
remember.
forget.
It's hard to remember everything because I
Right.
don't know what I've just made up sometimes, and it all gets put together, and it's like, oh yeah, Batman. You know, he's in caves, right? I mean,
There were bats.
I mean, yeah, I exactly.
You know
I
how easy it is to make cave fight jokes? And I made several.
Did you?
Just passing
I'd
it
like
on.
to hear some.
Well, you know. Is it the cave that's in a fight, or is it the band fighting other bands in the cave?
Or is it two people fighting for a cave?
We had this conversation, and you
It's
still
really
don't
about
remember.
the action pants. It's all about the action pants.
Okay.
All right.
There's
The
nothing.
action pants. Is this like the tuxedo? I'm not sure what's going on
Those
here.
are action slacks.
Wow.
There's a difference.
So, you got to catch me up here because I'm not sure. Like, he's telling me I've had conversations. I'm not saying it didn't happen
I remember when you played with us.
with
You
cave
remember
fight.
Like a gig with cave fight. You don't even
You're
remember.
forgetting a lot of
When
things,
did
bro.
I see? I don't believe you. I see you're making stuff up for sure now because you just said this is a new band,
Yeah.
right?
Newish.
Yeah. Newish.
All right, then I didn't play. I didn't
You
play.
did.
Where and
Huh?
when?
At your house. You and your wife.
Oh, okay. That was a taco something or other. I
Cave
don't
fight.
remember. It was cave fight. See,
That was cave fight.
I do kind of like your attitude though about the idea of it's just an evolution
It's an evolution.
because really it's all just one song.
Yeah.
That you were cutting up into little pieces to remember. You know what I mean? When it works right, every day is just one long day. You
It's
know?
a song called Life.
Yeah, exactly. And the fact that and people come and go because it's not that even they don't necessarily want to jam. It's just life gets busy, you know. And like I was telling you right before we started, man, I feel bad. I haven't jammed lately because I've been doing these other projects, chores, and and it's but I all of a sudden I did find myself jamming with two guys that I hadn't jammed with in 15 years.
Yeah.
And it's like, wow, I didn't see that one, you know. But it's really all the same thing. It doesn't matter who shows up. I'm just happy somebody came over to play with me.
I agree.
I'm like a little kid. I was like, I got a toy. Want to see it? You can play my toy. Go ahead.
I have become very thankful for the
Well,
people
oh,
that
yeah.
I get to play music with.
You know, it's
Like Amy.
yeah. And we're going to jump to Amy now because
Oh.
I first of all
Jump to me. Oh no.
Don't you dare me. You have thrown down the gauntlet, my lady.
I'm ready.
So when Matthew Murder texted me and said, my friend Amy wants to talk about her band K-Fight, and again, I did recognize the band K-Fight. I just didn't remember it being,
Couldn't place it.
well, because we talk about, we read so many bands, it all just becomes one thing. But I was excited because I was like, oh, Amy, okay, cool. And then I hear you play trumpet. Now I'm super excited because I love the ring of brass, and it's one of those things that I can't do. I can't even fake it. Like, you can kind of, like, if there's a bunch of good musicians and I'm standing there quietly, nobody really notices. But if I got a trumpet, everyone's going to hear all the horrible stuff I do. I love the ring of brass, but it is a tough one. Did you learn to play in school?
So yeah, I've been playing the trumpet for 21 years now. It'll be 21 years this year. So I started in the 5th grade, all because I wanted to be better than my older brother, Ethan.
Nice.
Shout out Ethan.
Perfect
He
reason.
definitely, yeah, he's my older brother, and he played all throughout high school and everything. And whenever it was my turn to pick an instrument, I was like, well, I got to be better than Ethan. So I'm gonna play trumpet. And that's kind of how it happened. And then I just followed through high school, and then I went on to my college band. I played in the Illinois State University Big Red Marching Machine,
Ah, yeah.
which is the largest college marching band in the United States.
And I will give you some serious kudos on that. I've never really understood the work that goes into that. You see it happen, between, at football games or whatever. My daughter was in the Marching 100 for a few years and did the boot camp during the summer.
And that's what it is.
Yeah, and where they get you into shape for it, and they, but to watch it as a I won't say a musician, but a guy who owns instruments. Seriously, like it's one thing to play a little music, but or even dance around while you're playing some music. That's easy. It's much easier that you have to be in the exact right spot at the exact right time, or you are messing up everybody. People start falling over you, and it is rigorous to say the least.
It's a lot of work. I remember in college, like running from, one side of the field to the other side and trying to keep a note, playing trumpet the whole way through, and literally sprinting while you're playing because the formations are so quick, and it's so rigorous, and it's a lot of work. But man, it was so fun. A lot of my musical skills I attribute back to marching band and jazz band and all that. So
and again, in high school, when I would see the marching band, I knew a bunch of the people in the band, and I'm, whatever. But I didn't really appreciate it for what it was. Where once my daughter was in it, and I'm paying, I'm not passively doing this thing. I'm paying attention. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is insanely hard, and it is a routine that you learn as a group and as a crew too, which makes it kind of like being in a band where other people are counting on you to hit the changes, man.
Guess how many, you talked about Marching 100, guess how many people were in her marching band?
How many?
Guess.
So
Guess.
All right 37.
You got it. So good. So that was like probably the French horn section alone. There was about 550 my sophomore year. I mean, we took up the whole field. It was insane.
Organizing that. We talked about band management earlier.
It was crazy. We had 3 drum majors.
550.
Okay, it's seriously the choreography too, because everybody's in everybody's way here. At least with a smaller group, you've got room for everybody to move and do the what are you gonna do?
You'd be surprised at some of the stuff we could do in that field. I mean, it was good times. Yeah. I mean,
that's
now, maybe I missed
lots
it.
Of dancing.
But was that Alton High?
No, that was Illinois State University.
Oh, okay,
my college
you're talking
marching
about that
band.
one.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Because I think they got a cap 100. It's called the Marching 100.
Yeah. Well,
yeah, exactly.
So
Marching 550.
Here's the thing here's a fact that I think I have, or I might be making up. You can tell me.
Sure.
It's either a fact or it's not. So Marching 100, the way that I think most high school marching bands work is there is one routine that is set forth, and you spend the entire year improving that routine. So you've learned this one routine, and now we're going to work on it, and that's cool. In college, it is a different routine at every game or every week. So it's not like, learn this one and get better.
Yeah.
You learn one, forget that one, time to move on. And here's another one.
Yeah, and they're equally
Seriously.
as intense each week, each game. I mean, they're full halftime shows because in college, the marching band is huge in the halftime show, so it's a big deal.
So were you a music major?
I was not a music major. I was pre-med. I went for biology.
Okay, so here's another thing that again may be a factor. Maybe I'm making it up. Who knows? No, I read this on a Snapple cap now. So I would just guess that if you went as a music major, you have as many actual hours wrapped up as a medical, as a doctor would, to basically probably teach high school. I don't know what you do with a music major.
Oh,
exactly.
I mean, there's a lot of things. A lot of
teaching.
A lot of comes from that. Yeah.
And you could get like I said, it's as many hours as a doctor puts in. So you're going to be a doctor, and you're just doing this on the side. Huh?
Yeah. Actually, it's funny. I picked my college based on did they have a marching band program that was successful? And then second was, did they have a pre-med program at all? And they do. It's not very great at ISU, but they do. But they had a great marching band, so I had to go there, and that was really what it was all about for me, honestly. And I should have seen back then, like, hey, this is probably more of the path you should take. I remember in high school there was a solo I played my senior year, and I was off the stage, in like my own corner with the spotlight and everything. And after I got done with that, some person, I don't know who he was, just somebody in the crowd came up to me and he shook my hand and he was like, that was beautiful. You need to do this for the rest of your life and make money with it. And I was like, I laughed in his face. And I just remember that. I was, a senior in high school, and I'm like, this is just for fun. I am not that good. I just do this for fun. And like, I love music. And and that was it. And here I am. So it's been a really cool, like, how it really worked out later on in life, though, also. So, because there was many years I took off from playing music, about 10 years that I didn't pick up my trumpet at all. And then I moved back home, aka Alton, and here I am in bands and all the kind of stuff. So. K-Fac.
You are an Alton native?
I was born in Alton, but raised in Roxana, so I graduated Roxana.
Just wondering if you were born in the same city as Miles Davis or not.
I was, yes.
Okay.
Definitely was born here, but not raised
Channeling.
in the town. But yeah, definitely channeling that energy. I love to call myself Amy the Trumpet Girl. A lot of people actually know me by that in this town, because a lot of people, like, I'll go to the bar, I'll go to open mics, whatever, and they'll be like, oh, I know you. You're that Trumpet Girl. And I'm like, yes, that is me. So that's actually my Instagram name, Amy the Trumpet Girl.
Nice.
Nice. And so many people know me by that now. So
it makes total sense. How many trumpet players you know, Pigpen?
None.
You know Amy.
I know Amy. I know Amy. Actually, the what was the really cool Polyshades band had a trumpet player.
Are you talking about?
Remember that Polyshades band?
Yeah, are you talking about Lofty's Comet?
Lofty's Comet. I don't think that they got a saxophone, but my godson Isaac Gruen from
he played trumpet
he's a
on
trumpet player.
Our record.
So I have tried to play trumpet, tried to play his slide trombone. I pass out. I turn blue. I don't know what I'm doing, but I try.
Takes a lot of lungs. Yeah.
Bagpipes are way harder.
I couldn't.
You never get that going.
Yeah.
Yeah. Scott's playing a bagpipe. You know Scott from Scott and Michelle? He's a bagpipe player.
That figures.
Yeah.
He looks like like I could picture him in a kilt, nothing on underneath it.
Is that what you're picturing?
That's what I'm picturing. I pictured how I want it. You pictured how you want
It's on
it.
the regular, actually.
Look, I always say how beautiful Michelle is, but Scott is a handsome gent right there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I love a man that appreciates a good-looking man.
Oh yeah.
That's
You
good.
kidding me?
Good
We're
thing.
sitting in the chair you're in right now. Last week was a man named Brandon. His handle was Brandon with the good hair.
Yeah.
And you talk about a handsome man. But I would, he
Good hair?
Oh yeah, good hair.
Good hair.
Good hair. I was making fun of it. Had no idea that was actually his handle. When he said, "Yeah, you can find me at Brandon with the good hair," I thought it was a joke because I'd been making, mocking how pretty his hair was.
Good as hair is. Actually, you're onto something.
Yeah, well, he did have some pretty hair, but not as pretty as yours.
Oh,
So, see.
thank you so much.
Amy with the good hair.
Amy with the good hair.
No, seriously, I'm excited I want to see this trumpet playing because I really do. I love horns. There's something about, especially like when a sax or any horn, just kind of it runs up the scale and then goes out like a little sharp on everything and makes them I love it.
Well,
man.
Pigpen, what do you got going on Sunday night? You can check it out right here in town at the Conservatory.
I have heard that they will be playing at the Conservatory. What else? There's several bands. Who else playing on that?
K-Fight, Dracula Johnson, MADS,
That's scary.
and Chase the Comet. We already brought up Comets.
Chase the Comet.
So I saw that and I was wondering if that was some incarnation of Lofty's Comet or if it's just a whole nother.
They're from California.
No, yeah. So
Really? Okay.
So
Yeah.
Josh found they were inquiring on a local music
They're
Facebook
on
page.
tour.
that they were going on tour and they wanted to come through St. Louis, and they wanted, who has a venue, who wants to play with us, blah, blah, blah. And Josh kind of sent that to me. Well, he sent it in the group chat, and then I picked it up and I was like, I'm on it, salute.
Nice.
And I reached out to them. I sent them a little bit of what we did. I sent them what we have of an EPK at the moment, and they were like, we're in love. They were super excited, and they're like, we need to do this with you. We need to be on this show. So they had picked out a venue, which ended up falling through. So then I had facilitated moving it to the Conservatory for the same day. So it's going to be this Sunday at the Conservatory in Alton. And yeah, Chase the Comet. They're an awesome rock band from California.
Now, and
they're about to find out that our music scene is way cooler than St. Louis's.
Yeah, our California's.
Right. Probably.
And she gets to play with them.
Yeah.
Yeah, they asked me to play their opening song with them on trumpet. So, because they usually just use a backing track for their trumpet, and so they're like, "If you can learn this, we'd really need you on it." I'm like, "Done."
That's
awesome.
That is pretty sweet. Right?
They're
really
looking
cool.
forward to that. I guarantee it.
So I think one of the questions I was going to ask when we get to talking about the gig might have just been answered. I thought when I saw that this was at the Conservatory on a Sunday. Mm-hmm. With this many bands, I thought, wow, I wonder why it's not a Saturday or a Friday. And now I believe I know why. It was because...
Yeah, the other venue, unfortunately, just couldn't do it that day. So they were kind of scrambling, like, well, it has to be on the same day because Chase the Comet's on tour, and so every day they're kind of booked a show or traveling to that show. And so it has to be Sunday, March 1st. Who has a venue? And I'm like... me. I know, but we're going to be in Alton instead. Is that fine? And they were like, that sounds awesome. They were super stoked on it. And yeah.
So we need to get people to come out and show what I just said. How cool our music scene is.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Time to show them.
So what time does this show start on Sunday?
Starts at 8. Music starts at 8.
See, I'm too little, too late on Monday morning quarterbacking kind of thing.
Hard.
Well, what I was going to say is not even Sunday. At our age, 8 p.m.
That's bedtime.
on a school day. No.
Sorry, Mom, I got school in the morning.
Right.
Don't encourage other people not to come.
Oh no, I'm saying skip school.
That's what you're getting at.
How long you know me, bro? Have I ever encouraged anybody to do the right thing? Ever?
Definitely remember you skipping school.
I mean, I don't learn lessons. You know this. No, I am not encouraging people to stay home. I'm encouraging, as Dennis did, everybody to get out, man, because this is cool. A band that's on tour.
Right.
From California, coming through, heading to the East Coast, gonna go heading straight to, New York City, and they're gonna stop right here in Alton. Mm-hmm. I mean, come on, man, that's pretty cool, And we have a venue that is cool enough to go, a local show. Yeah. Let's do it, man. Or an original show. Yeah. Let's do it, So that's great. That is Chase the Comet. Who else did we have on there?
We got. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. So MADS, which is a female-fronted indie rock band from St. Louis. Phenomenal people.
Is that the Mothers Against Drunk Drivers?
No.
Because they hate me.
Yeah.
Different thing. But
there's still time.
We'll invite them, too. And then Dracula Johnson, who actually, my partner Drew plays bass in that band. So we're both going to be playing the same show for the first time in our musical careers.
Look at
that.
Huh?
Yep.
Drew Goebel, right?
Drew Goebel, that's right. That's right.
See, I remember stuff.
Yes.
We just had Gordon on a few weeks ago. Yeah.
Yeah. We were just talking about that. So.
Gordon Lightfoot.
Yeah.
Oh, that was the week I was gone, wasn't it? Okay.
Skipped.
I'm like, what Gordon did we have? Because I'm racking my brain trying to think about it.
You skip just like school.
I do. I don't really skip.
And I told you when you came back, I'm like, you missed a good one. We had fun.
Yeah.
So.
Well, you always say that when I'm gone. You're like, that was such a good show when you were gone. People got to talk instead of listening to you.
In this case, these are kids that I call them kids because I remember them starting out at Wendy's house.
Oh, really?
On Farmageddon's.
Yeah.
That we used to play.
In the barn out there.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, yeah, I remember you.
I may have seen those kids before then.
He looks different.
All right.
He's aged a little.
A little.
Right.
See, not me. I'm exactly the same. So there you go. That's Drew. What was his name? I see. I've already forgotten.
No, that's
Dracula Johnson.
Dracula
See. It took a
the
second.
band, yeah.
I got 2 brain cells left alive, and they fight a lot. I usually just sit
totally
around and cuss and drool.
It's going to be Dracula Johnson.
Dracula. See, I'm going to go.
I love that. I love that a lot.
You'll be able to find me at Bubby and Sissy's under Count Dracula.
That's you.
Ooh, Bubby's and Sissy's a fun place for open mic on Mondays.
true.
Count Dracula.
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 I don't know. I'm just trying to come up with my gimmick before I go.
Like the end of your life go, or
Right.
I don't. Yeah.
Just before I go.
Yeah, be specific.
Before I go.
find myself before I.
Right.
Wheezy. All right.
So yeah, no cover Sunday night.
Is it?
It's
Okay, there you
$5
go.
cover. Five cover.
Oh,
there
they
you
changed it.
We're trying to pay them band.
I was
It
gonna
was
say-
no
touring
cover.
bands.
Touring band we need to pay.
Right.
I was going to say, here's the thing, man. Like, seriously, these people are coming to your town, $5 to help them get down the road.
Yeah.
I would give that to a stranger at a bus stop
Right.
that needed $5 to get down the road. Let alone somebody who's worked all day bringing equipment in. And I love the attitude that I picked up when you said, well, they're on tour. So they're playing every day, and so and I know bands who have done this before. They'll set out, they'll schedule this tour, and they have these certain shows that they know they're going to get paid, and they know they got, and in between they just try and fill in because
Yeah.
if you're on the road, it doesn't make sense not to play
Right.
because you're out here.
That's what you're there for.
Yeah, that's what you're here to do, and so even if you are doing it for free pizza and beer. You know what I mean?
At least you're doing it.
At least you're playing that night instead of just sitting in a hotel or a campground or what have you. You know, some stinky, U-Haul has been my experience often.
That sounds great.
Heck
awesome.
yeah. What was the guy eating blueberry pie filling straight out of the can for dinner? His band was on tour.
That was you.
Okay.
Sounds like Friendly Fest to me.
It sounds like what I did earlier, right before the show.
Have a bean in my beer.
I had to
All
use
right.
my.
Yeah, I was surprised because I seen it listed as no cover at one point, and I'm thinking, wait a minute, this band's from California. They just must want a crowd. And I'm glad to see that we're going to kick them some cash. So.
Yep.
Yeah,
That's
it
the
was.
plan.
I think it was no cover at the other venue, and
Is
then
that
once
what
we
it was?
moved it, I kind of made the exec decision to give the
See,
touring bands
now-
money.
Now I'm gonna throw an idea your way. Again, not because I think I'm smart, because I saw other people do this. No, seriously, in this situation, I would even talk to a band like that and go, hey, how about if we say no cover but ask for a donation at the door?
Right.
Because then, if there's 10 people that $5 is stopping them from coming, but they'd come out, man, that'd be nice to have those.
I would never turn
Turn
away somebody away if they didn't have the door.
Right,
yeah.
I mean that would encourage
Come
people
on.
I
to,
agree,
to
though.
come. However, most people I know, especially my wife, doesn't believe in going to see a band and not buying their merch, or
Right,
not giving
yeah.
them something.
We're big on that, too,
Yeah,
in our
because
family.
these guys are out here doing it, and we love to go see music. So we want to see these people, survive. We got to see a band. We were out all the way out in New York, and we saw this band on and off. One of the nights we didn't have concert tickets, we just went to a bar, and it was a band from Indiana that I had heard of, and we actually just about had them play at Family Fest one year, but it just and she immediately, even though it was free to get in, walks over, starts buying t-shirts, because she sees this is a band from Indiana that's out here doing this. We haven't even heard them play yet, and she's like buying their because she realizes this is how they make.
Exactly.
More than the door, if they're selling their merch, all that money's going in their pocket, or at least everything but the re-up fee on it,
And they did mention that whenever I mentioned putting a door charge on it, they were like, "Oh, that's awesome. Definitely try to promote our merch because we make a lot of our money
Yeah.
on merch sales." So they actually did say that. So I know
There
I'll
you
be
go.
purchasing some.
Absolutely. And that it's just a little something to help these guys
For
get
sure.
down the road.
Yeah.
You know, is all it is. So, so the other band that we haven't talked about yet that's on that bill is this band Cave Fight. Have you heard of them? I have never heard of these guys yet.
He's already forgot.
Who that?
Oh wait, you guys are Cave Fight. That's
are.
right. Yeah. Okay. So who else is in the band other than the two lovely Amy and the
This guy.
prophet Joshua?
Prophet.
Prophet.
Man.
You're a prophet and a poet, man.
Thanks, man.
Chris Christopherson said that
Yeah.
about you when we talked about you.
Yeah, I believe that. He's a good dude. I remember when he was coming up.
Oh yeah. Yeah, he's
I had him in my band too.
In one of the 9.
Probably true.
Yeah, I used to. You ever go to Chuck E. Cheese? I used to jam with the drummer of that band,
Yeah.
that bear.
That's
The
That dude was
animatronics.
awesome.
I miss that.
Seriously, remember the old showbiz days? Did you go to the old like showbiz?
yeah.
Oh man,
Yeah.
it was like everything was so out of hand back then.
Yeah.
It was just so much fun, you know, to see any band, anybody, any of your buddies get up and just trash it out. You know, they had to take the glass ashtrays off the table before us kids got in there on Saturday night because somebody's going to chuck one for us over. You know?
They were doing punk rock shows at Showbiz back then, weren't they?
Now, the only place you could really catch punk rock shows like right as I was getting into junior high to high school, doing that sort of transformation was that I saw live punk rock shows was the Pizza John's that used to be down where where El Mezcal is, but the other end of that building, and then Showbiz took that on. And then there were two churches. There was the Evan. Evangelical still out there,
Played shows there.
and my kids can't fathom it because the way things are now. They know, had friends who went to school there and everything. I said, you know, they used to let us go in there and they would have punk rock bands play, and then they would rope off this section that you could get out this one door to have a cigarette. And, you know, and this was a church that was doing this, you know, and then there was the, you know, and they're like, no, I'm like, no, it was a different time, man.
Yeah.
You know, our high school had a smoking pit for kids.
We did.
You know?
Back pit was a smoke pit.
The back pit was the smoke pit, but
Yep.
so the other place was the church uptown. It's sort of diagonal from Village. It's not the one with the big swooped roof, but it's the really old looking one there. I forget what they called that one, man. But I saw like John Baker's band with like White Trash or whatever.
White Trash.
White Trash.
Yeah.
And then was there a band like The Problem, the
Plague.
The Plague. Yeah, there's the Plague. I mean, you know, it's hard to remember all of it from back then.
Yeah.
Even Channel 3, like those guys that weren't back quite that far back, but Dead Planet, you know, you see all these great, you know, this great stuff happening, and you're like, you're at a pizza joint or you're at a church.
Yeah.
Those were the only places I really, you know, other than that, we talked about it even in the 90s to really pull that, you know, forget the 80s, you know, in the 90s to pull that off, you had to rent a hall or have a friend with a really big house, you know, because no bar will tolerate the likes of me.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, even when you ventured to St. Louis, or maybe as one or two you could play. Club 367,
Bernard's Pub.
Yeah,
but which I'm sure you probably had some good times. Now, what was me, Dewcliff, when he's been in here talk with Dead Planet? We talk about the place that was right there across the bridge, Salisbury Street. There's a park right across on McKinley Bridge if you go straight, and there was a place that would have serious punk rock shows there back in the day.
Yeah.
Man, I can't remember it for the life
I don't
of
remember
me.
the name of the place.
Oh, it was so it was legendary, man. And Bernard's Pub, the original one before the plane hit it.
Yep.
And the one down when he moved to the landing, that one was insane. Got hit by a plane, man.
Yeah.
How crazy is that? You know, you remember Metal's Edge?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That was a little late. That was like '90s time, but that was a good one.
I seen Ingve there.
Oh, yeah.
Ingve J.
That was
Malmsteen.
Ingve J. Mount.
Wow, because you know, if it was
I don't wanna
Ingve H.
confuse him.
Malmsteen, I've seen him everywhere. That guy plays everywhere. Ingve Malmsteen. So, So let's talk more cave fight here, because Sunday. See, I keep wanting to say things Saturday. Sunday, you will be playing. You say this is the newest evolution of what was sometimes cloudy. Sometimes
we've written new material too, so it's the new musicians that come in, and it just had a totally different thing going on, and it felt good and it felt right, but it didn't feel like that other band. You know what I mean?
Is Mr. Stone a part of this?
No.
Okay. Because I very rarely see you without him.
No. Yeah, we haven't played together for quite a while now.
A couple of years, huh?
Yeah.
Oh,
Like he played with us in the Divine March was the last band he played in.
Lover Spat.
Yeah. Maybe kind of.
Yeah.
Anyway. Anyway.
He won't hold me afterwards.
Yeah.
He's a selfish lover.
Sort of, something like that.
I don't know.
How do you know?
I do know, actually.
Anyway.
I'm the selfish lover. I'll say it.
That's what your wife said.
Oh, yeah. Oh, you know what, though? I'm going to tell you this. First thing I do when I get home from this, I'm going to rip my wife's panties off because they're killing me. They're tight. No, all right. See, that doesn't work good on the radio. No one got to see the movement.
Yeah.
You got to watch the video.
The camera's not playing that good.
It's not. Anyway. Oh, so seriously though, cave fight. When did it? Like, I know you guys been around for a while because we've been saying your name. Apparently, I've talked about all of this once before. I've already lived this. But tell me a little bit more about how. Like, did you start anew? Did you go, hey man, or was it a few members of the old band that sort of?
Yeah,
transferred over?
Lee Jackson and I and Austin Hine were playing together, and we wanted to fill the sound out a little bit more. And I think last time I was in here, Rob McDonald was playing with us, and he's not. And so we reached out to Tim from Modern Pasta, and he joined the band to bring.
Yeah.
He always brings good things to the table.
Those guys are fun.
Yeah,
They're fun.
Those guys are fun. They're you can tell they're having a good time when they're on stage. They're smiling, and it makes me smile.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Those guys are a lot of fun. First time I saw them was up at when Trinity Riverfest was up in Calhoun County there. Saw you play with Mr. Lee Jackson. But that band wasn't that band was called something completely different too, wasn't it?
I think that was the Divine March, maybe.
Yeah,
at that
see,
time.
that's what I mean.
Because he had joined that band to fill our drummer's position.
I think you do this. It's like the.
Look, Josh explained it last time he was in. He was starting to just do Josh Grassley and Friends because it was getting confusing.
Right.
Basically.
Right.
Yeah. So.
Make more friends.
Yeah.
So I'm one of the friends now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's cave fight.
But
Here's the thing, though, Josh.
Because it's different than it
You've
was.
got it all going on, don't
Yeah.
you?
And the new
for
stuff's
sure.
got a new flavor too, because it's
Awesome.
very
Okay.
trumpet
Plus,
driven.
it's
and
fun.
And she doesn't just play trumpet; she sings.
Okay.
Fun making up names too. I mean, come on.
So you were a singer, which you actually sang a little something as we were talking. You kind of sang a line out earlier. I was like, all right, I would expect you to follow a melody if you're a horn player, probably.
No,
but
never.
classically trained.
No. I actually, I sing a lot of opera in my day. No, I was just telling Josh this. I am not a professional singer at all, and I don't have a lot of experience other than partly leading my worship band at church and what we do, and then but like in school I was never in choir because I took up too much of my time in all the other bands and all the other classes for band that I had to take, and so I never got a chance to like learn in air quotations how to sing, but I think I do I do okay on stage, and it's something I'm very passionate about. I love to sing. I mean, I've always loved to harmonize. I remember when I was 3 years old harmonizing to I'll Fly Away with my mother, and I've always had the ear for it, and so I love what we do.
So a few things there. First of all, if you know how to sing harmonies,
Yeah.
kudos.
That's what I do. That's like, I can't do lead. I make it like a point. I'm like, I will harmonize over anything, but I can't. Yeah, so.
To be somebody else's second voice, I'm the same. I'm the opposite. I don't want. I don't. If someone else is singing, it's hard for me to figure out where to join in with them because I'm no good at it.
Yeah. What he'll do is start singing whatever you're singing. I tried to harmonize with him.
Yeah.
I just
And he
match-
just starts
And
singing.
you match that
I'll just
pitch.
match him. Yeah.
Yeah, it's talent for, I would say, both the people to kind of
to
lead and to follow the harmony.
Yeah.
It's yeah.
Now here's the other thing I picked up on that you kind of just brushed over real quick. You said, "Well, I did lead the choir, the praise choir at church or whatever."
Oh, well.
So listen, you can't lead a choir and not know a little.
Well,
something,
we're
something.
not necessarily a choir. I mean, so I partly like co-lead my worship band at church currently. So I go to Ivy Heights Church of God in Wood River, and I started going there.
I'm a cantor myself.
And I started going there last year, and they were just like, "Oh, you play guitar? You play instruments? Like, get on stage." And so
Nice.
I did, and now
She said band, not choir.
fun.
You
I
messed up.
picked up
We're-
on it. Yeah, I corrected myself. I
Yeah.
wanted to hear choir. I guess I don't
You
know.
did.
I wish
You
we had
did.
a choir. I mean, we could get
There's
everybody on
openings
stage
if you
there.
guys are
Yeah,
looking.
there's. If you guys want to join the church, I mean, get on stage with us.
All right.
I have to say that's where I started learning how to sight read, though, was in church.
Yeah,
You
that's
know.
really cool. Yeah.
A lot of times I'd stop singing and just read the notes and listen to what everyone was singing so I could understand the music better. And
See, I-
that's also where I learned to build chords and harmonize with guys who
Right.
didn't want me harmonizing with them and started singing what I sang.
Yeah, church music is good for the harmonization, I would say.
Yeah.
Now
For it.
it is an odd thing because especially when you see these people doing like 4-part harmonies and stuff like, okay, wow. So you're the third, you're the root note, you're the third, you're the fifth. What are you doing? The seventh?
Right.
Is this jazz?
This is all math. Now you're doing algebra.
Right. I don't know how to count. So that you think you're so smart because you can read.
Yeah, well, something like that.
So that is interesting to me that you don't have training, but yet harmonies come that natural to you. I'm so envious of people that. What else do you do? Any other instruments?
I play a mean tambourine. I'll tell you that much.
Awesome.
Oh man.
Did you say
In K
green?
fight, I need to get a green one. Actually, I saw some light up ones before. Those I'm really gonna have to invest. But no, in K fight, I play trumpet. I play tambourine on a few Jamie songs and sing harmonies over Josh and.
He's working on some leads for some of the
Yeah,
songs,
we're
too.
trying. Otherwise, I mean, I play a little guitar. Like I play guitar in the worship band, and then I play piano a little bit. I actually teach piano lessons to some of the kids at church. So
She started with, I play a little piano too, and then in her next sentence is, I teach piano.
well, it's funny because the way this happened was our piano player at church was out, and there was a song that we picked that week that was piano forward. So it had to be played on piano. So I was like, all right, I'm just gonna jump on. I haven't played piano in years. Whatever. I'll just. So I played it, and then as soon as I was done, one of the moms came up to me and she was like, so you're gonna teach my daughter how to play piano, right? Like I'll pay you. And I was like, well, yeah, of course I will. So took one song. Now I have a business apparently. So no, it's been fun.
Okay, so let me ask you this because my brain is curious here. When you have a kid come to you, you're teaching you're going to teach a kid from scratch basically.
Yeah.
Which piano is the perfect instrument, whether the kid wants to play piano or not. If they want to learn music, this is the instrument.
That's exactly what I
to
tell
learn
everybody.
theory on it.
Because it's just laid out.
Well,
right
it's
there.
linear,
You can see it.
laid out in black and white, as they say.
Literally.
Yucky.
Yeah.
It shows you hey Pigpen, it shows you how to sing harmonies. It shows you how to sing harmonies, the piano.
Yes, I'm just saying words over here. I don't know.
He was a keyboard player and he still can't sing harmonies.
I don't know how to play keyboard. I just bought one and said, I want to be in your band. so
He shows up.
So here's the question I was gonna ask though. Like when you're talking about little kids, again, this is like a blank slate sort of because they probably don't know music.
Yeah.
Are you teaching them letters, numbers, all of the above?
So yeah, I mean, I teach a lot of like simple introduction to music theory, and that's how you pretty much start with any piano course. And so really we're just building on a little foundation of music theory, and then like teaching her how to play songs on the piano based around that. And it's really simplified stuff. I mean, I don't get into super detail. Like I said, I don't have a degree in music. Like I don't technically have like a certificate that says I can do this or anything, but like I have the skill and I have the, I guess, years upon me of musicality. So
nice. So I was asking that. I have zero musical training except 6 months of piano lessons as a kid because I wanted a guitar.
Yeah.
And my mom said, "You just want to be a rock star," and she was right. She was absolutely right. And so I did 6 months of piano lessons, but not wanting to be there. I was more interested in reading the comic books that the old lady had. Her name was Miss Durbro, and I would stop there on the way home from East Junior High. But what it's funny because I still remember what I learned in that 6 months was very little, but it stuck with me to this day.
Exactly.
That at the time I almost didn't really get what she was doing. Where it's like sometimes it's a number, sometimes it's a note.
Yeah.
And then Mary Had a Little Lamb. I could still remember her 3, 2, 1, 2, 3, 3, 3, 2, 2, 2, 3, and at the time I'm like, what do these numbers mean? And later when it all clicked and the circle of fifths came into my life and everything, I went, oh, that lady was teaching me the right way to do it. I thought she was just trying to make it confusing to make me hate it. She's like, well, this is an A, but we're going to make that a 3.
Yeah, exactly.
And as a kid, I didn't care enough to really pick up on what she was laying down. But now I look back at that lady and go, she had to have been 100 years old back then, and she was a genius. Because as a kid, I retained everything that she didn't teach much. I mean, she taught me how to transport numbers into letters into numbers and understand the pattern or whatever, which means you can switch keys on the fly.
Exactly. Yeah.
Which
is what I do a lot of with my trumpeting, obviously, because the trumpet is a B flat instrument, and the guitar, piano, that's a C instrument. So every time, whenever I first started playing with Cave Fight, back in the day, Sci-Facic, but now Cave Fight, I would always look to Austin, not Josh, and I would say, hey, what key are we in? What key are we in? What's this song called? What key are we in? And he'd always tell me, and then as soon as he tells me, I can transpose down to my B flat instrument, and then I can figure out, okay, well, that's the key I'm in, and this is the scale I play based off of, and then, okay, there's some jazzy pieces, I'll add some fifths and sevenths there, and blah, blah, blah. And that's really, I create pieces based on music theory. It's all numbers in my head.
I was going to say
this is why she's the only trumpet player we know.
And this is why I'm trying to get into it a little bit about how your brain ticks.
It's a process.
I met a guy years ago. He plays with a band. They're really big now. They're called the Revivalists. And when they were on their way up, I was hanging out with them quite a bit and talking to a pedal steel player one day. And I didn't understand how pedal steel works, and he's explaining the physics of how it works, and I'm like. At first, my first comment was, wow, dude, what are you up there doing mad math all day? Because every time you drop a bar, it changes what key you're in.
Yeah.
And Alex Ranson, who was in a band with me and Mr. Dennis here at the time, he goes, it's the same as a capo.
That's what I was about to say.
And as soon as he said that, it made sense to me. I'm like, oh, you're not doing math. You're thinking about puppies running across fields. You're just, it's just more instinctive or whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking with an instrument like the trumpet, where you're stuck in one key. You can't adjust this. You can't tune it. You can't do anything.
Well, no, you can. I mean, you can tune it. You can tune a trumpet.
You can't, but you can't tune a fish.
No.
So, but you can only tune it to one thing at a time, is what I mean.
Yeah.
It's hard to switch on the fly. Kind of like a harmonica, you could switch trumpets, and or whatever.
Well, to switch, I'm a B flat, but I can play in any key just depending on the scale that I
and that's
the buttons.
Well, and that's what I was kind of getting down to the crux of, is with this particular instrument, and I'm putting it together in my head as we talk, because I don't know. I kind of drew us into the circle of fifths talk, because that's what it comes down to, is that you're using this like a decoder real quick. Whenever they say, you go, hey, what key we in?
Exactly.
Oh, we're in A minor. Okay, so I'm going to play.
Yeah,
and you
and that
figure
is
out,
what it is.
It's and I'm understanding a little bit more about how a instrument with only 3 buttons works.
Yeah,
right now.
that is that's the tough part, right? Because I have to do all of it with basically my lungs and my lips, and the buttons really don't
That's where I
matter
was gonna
as
go.
much as anything.
Yes.
So
Ronnie James Dio was a trumpet player.
Ronnie James Dio was.
Right. Now, singing and playing trumpet are very similar
yes,
Yeah.
because you can push no buttons on a trumpet and play lots of notes.
yes,
Yes.
yes.
Just like singing.
Right. Well, and that's why when I mentioned earlier, I said, "Oh, well, you did sing out one line," and I thought, "Of course you can sing." She's a because horn players typically
Yeah.
can follow a melody line because you're using your vocal cords
Yep.
as part of the sound. It's the lip thing, the lung thing too, but it's the lip. My lips go numb
Yes, yeah.
every time I try. I don't know what I'm doing.
So yeah, it's just embouchure, just working out your lips. It's like a muscle that you work out in any other.
What's
We had a
changed?
trombone.
Family
Get
show.
stronger.
Don't be using that kind of language.
We had,
Embouchure.
we had a trombone player.
We were going to call the
Google,
band
what
that.
does embouchure mean?
We had a trombone player explain to Pigpen that you can only practice so long with a trombone because your lips eventually go numb and you can't.
It's true. Trumpet as
practice
well.
anymore.
Trumpet as
So,
well. My lips go numb on stage a lot.
He forgets those things. Something we need to not forget, though, is to mention that we are brought to you by Halpin Music Company and Mr. Matt Voorhis of Macias Insurance. It's been about 50 minutes since I mentioned that, and they like for us to kind of talk about what's going on around town.
All right.
So I want to do a little bit of that real quick. We
Let's
got
do it.
Champagne Fixx on Friday night at Fast Eddie's, Rum Boogie at the BFW. We got Highway 67 at Baker's and Hale, Rewind at Laux Brickhouse and Bethalto. We got Classic Crush at the Tri-County Rod and Gun Club in Brighton, and Jay Hollinger up at George's Pub and Grill in Jerseyville. We got the Pete Creeshock Project out there in Holiday Shores at Backstage at the Lake. Mo Pleasure at Big Daddy's and Bad Karma at Backstage right there by the Wild E at 9 o'clock. And Bags Fly Free at the Stagger Inn from 5 to 8. Strangers at the 1818 Chop House. Much more at Peel. Wood Fire Pizza and Laney and Julie at the Barrel and Brew. All those places in Edwardsville, including this one I haven't mentioned. Sacred Grounds Cafe in Edwardsville. They're going to start doing this thing called Sacred Sessions. Friday night, Benji West from 5 to 8 there. And then we got the double wide deal out at the cabin at Judy Creek. And then Road to Point Fest Session 12. Dramatic Plunge. Less Pesky Bells. Chronokinesis.
Nice.
And Sacred Pride.
Chronokinesis.
Yeah.
I like that one.
Here's an old hardcore band. Destroy the Future.
Oh, wow.
8:30
yeah.
at Shotzi's in Belleville. Captain Geek and the Shrimp Shack Shooters are going to be up in Root House on Friday. That's just Friday, Pigpen. That's just Friday.
Man.
I haven't seen who's playing Bossa Nova, but they usually have somebody on Saturday night. We got Double Wide Duo and Champagne Fixx at Fast Eddie's on Saturday. Bites and Brews is a fundraiser for 2026 dental mission to Belize.
Yeah, I was just talking to
With,
Billy Hurst
Billy
about
Hurst.
that. Yeah, I was just
Yeah.
talking to Billy about that yesterday.
$25 in advance, $35 on Saturday, and that's at Rolling Hills Golf Course, raising money for the dental mission to Belize. Raised on the radio at Baker's and Hale and Godfrey, Psychedelic Symphony out at Doc Holidays and Cottage Hills. Raised Creek at the franchise in Wood River. They don't have bands often. But Raised Creek going to be down there Saturday. Bad Habit at the Pump House. Backyard Blues Band at Chico's, 7 to 11 on Saturday. Three Stooges up at Grafton Pub. Scott and Liz at the Grafton Winery, 3 to 7 for both those. Cree Ryder at George's Pub and Grill in Jerseyville from 6 to 9 on Saturday. Dave Mendoza down there at Deutz Village Inn, Pontoon Beach. Tanglefoot going to be playing Uncle Al's up in Jerseyville on Saturday. Children of the Void, the Black Sabbath, and Ozzy Tribute. They're at the Mill. Hasn't sold out yet, but the Eagles show did sell out down there.
Ronnie James Dio going to be there?
Eagle, the Peaceful Eagle Feeling.
Peaceful Eagle
That's
feelings.
a sold out show
Nice,
at the
man.
Mill
Nice.
in Granite City. Money Shot at the Kickstand in Granite City, and that gets us pretty close to most of what's going on except Edwardsville. We got Carrie Lee at Backstage at the Lake in Holiday Shores, Daily Vincent at the Wild E Theater in Edwardsville, Ray at Backstage in Edwardsville, Strangers at Big Daddy's from 6 to 9, Greg Klima 5 to 8 at the Stagger Inn again in Edwardsville, and Cam Berger at Barrel and Brew from 7 to 10. Hunter Sharp out the cabin at Judy Creek, Strange at Buffalo at Lyle's Tavern in Maryville. And, man, this list just keeps going on, including Road to Point Fest, another one, with terrible news, failure to be, the Sellout X, Impressions, and Up by Noon.
Up by Noon. It's harder than it sounds.
All ages show.
Nice.
Keep that in mind, yeah.
Nice.
Is the Conservatory show all ages on Sunday?
No.
No?
21 up.
21 and up, or Cave Fight, Dracula Johnson, Mads, and Chase the Comet at the Conservatory on Sunday, 8 o'clock for that one.
Nice. Well, man, that's exciting too. Seriously, when I saw the Chase the Comet, part of me thought, I wonder if that's a Lofty's Comet split off, And
That'd be fun.
yeah, I was gonna say, to hear that it's a touring band coming through,
What's the singer's name?
Nika Comet, and Chase Comet is her husband.
Where's she from?
They're from Russia originally,
we are from France.
and yeah.
Chasing Comets.
Nice. Yeah. You never catch the comet. You just keep chasing it.
It's like being on tour.
Oh man. Well, hey, you know what? This is going to be a good show. You got 4 bands, $5. That's $1.25 a band. I mean, where else are you going to find entertainment that cheap? And I'm going to guarantee something to you people that you're not going to get from any streaming service that you could watch that night, or no commercials. There will not be, you will not be, no Liberty Insurance, no.
Unless somebody wants to sponsor us.
Right. Then you can say, well, that was that stupid DJ that said that, not us.
We'll wear the shirt.
This show is brought to you by Big Med. Big toilet paper gets their way again. Big toilet paper always pushing her agenda. All right, Joshua.
Sir.
I am so happy to see you. I'm always happy to see you.
Yeah.
Keep up the cave fight.
Keep up the cave fight. And well, here's the thing I can guarantee you, and it's what I brought
You
up.
can use that if you
That
need
was
to.
good.
Within 6 months, he's going to have another evolution. He likes to change his band name every 6 months. Like every time he has to change his password for Google, he also changes his band name.
Well, the other one doesn't go away. So
Right.
the project's still there.
Right.
But
This is a different
What
band.
I mean is there's
This
a
is
whole
different
lot, but you
band.
have a whole lot of projects that seem to evolve and
Yeah.
grow and change
Right.
names. And
They don't change names.
I think they
All
do.
those
They change
bands have
bands.
the same names, just different members are in other bands that he's in.
I just have a lot of bands.
Yeah.
See now,
And
but
you know
earlier-
yourself how much fun it is making up band names. You had a whole song about it.
We actually voted on Cave Fight. It got 2 out of 5 votes, so it won.
So why
Very
It was very diplomatic.
we know you guys actually explore caves, but how'd the name come about?
So, my girlfriend Chris, who was on the show with us last time, if you remember Chris.
Oh, how could I forget Chris?
Right. How can you forget
Some
Chris?
things he remembers.
So her and I started exploring caves. She's a very, very feisty woman.
Oh yeah,
And
she's a firecracker.
I love
the
Chris.
name came from Chris because she likes to fight.
Go figure.
So as we were putting names out there, I don't mean with me, but she has, I don't know how far I
Sure.
should go, but she likes knives. She likes,
Did you fall into another door?
huh?
Nah.
We don't talk about that.
Chris never wants to fight me.
We had a list of names, and she threw out Cave Fight, and it won.
Nice.
Like I said, by 2 votes.
2 votes.
I
Finding a
unanimously.
cave, I mean, with the reverb and everything, it's a whole different thing.
Yeah.
since he said
I've
love
grown
it.
to love the name.
Yeah, me
since
too.
he said Chris loves to fight, all I'm picturing is like Foxy boxing. I don't know.
I'll let her tell her own stories when she's here next time.
I-
But you might want to have her on just for her stories.
Here,
We'll have her on to get everything straight, Josh.
Yeah.
Right,
Get it straight.
Good
Get
luck.
it straight.
Good luck with that. I'm here to make sure that never happens.
Yeah.
I'm here to curve out the straights and straighten out the curves.
There you go.
Well, I play the straight guy, so what can I say?
Oh man. Hey, well, thanks guys for coming in. Always, like I say, always a pleasure to see you. And Amy, lovely to meet you.
Thank you so much.
I am titillated to
Oh,
know
my.
that there.
that much, huh?
Oh yes, and more. One hand under the counter kind of thing. Anyway, so no, seriously, I love horns, and so now I'm excited and to hear that Josh Grassley has a horn in his band. Knowing him, he as he says, he has to change the music to fit. It can't just be super hardcore. It could be. It could be whatever you want it to be. But something I'm excited to
It's
see.
an
how-
interesting
I'm
blend.
a trumpet in a rock band. We'll just keep it at that.
I love it. I love it.
I do
do
it.
something that I would like to think is, different than what really anybody's kind of doing.
Yeah.
So check this out. I had a band play at the last festival I threw, and the drummer plays drums. He'll pick up an accordion or something like that, but at one time he's playing drums with a keyboard and picks up a horn. And he's just doing his feet playing the drums at this point. He's got a trumpet with a keyboard going and keeping the beat with his 2 feet.
One-man band.
And he looks like he's not even trying. And you're just like, you make me just want to quit. I went home and cried.
Maybe the problem is you haven't tried to play all your instruments at once.
Oh, I
Yeah.
have. I try everything. It just nothing works.
It just doesn't.
The only thing that works is a bunch of really good musicians around me, and I play real quiet. Works every time.
Yeah. I understand. I understand. That's why I surround myself with good musicians.
Absolutely. Hey,
We turn him down in the mix.
every
You just want to see the action, right?
every band I play with now, I ask for in-ear monitors. They're like, just turn him off. Let him just dance around and be a monkey over there and do his thing. It's awesome.
They're fun.
It's awesome. Now, seriously, thanks for coming back down to the show as always, Josh. Thanks for coming down, Amy.
you so
I
much.
am
Thank
excited
you.
to see you play. This is
Yay.
going to be a good time.
Sunday night.
It's gonna be really fun.
Sunday. If you see only one show this Sunday, make it at the Conservatory.
Make it be
And if you don't want to be up late, we play second.
So just
There you
leave
go.
after we're done. No, no,
Put
don't do
that
that.
out there.
Hey, you know what? It's good to know that. It's good to know that.
Yeah.
Now, seriously, everybody get down there. It's at the Conservatory right there at the corner of Henry M. Broadway. Sunday starts at 8 p.m. Got 4 bands going on, including a band from California,
Chase the Comet.
Chase the Comet. What was the other one? MADS?
Mads from
Yeah,
St.
Mads.
Louis.
I think this is their first time in Alton.
All right. There you go. And then, of course, Dracula Johnson
Yep.
and Cave Fight. Cave Fight. All right. Well, thanks again. Big thanks to Halpin Music, our sponsor for 10 years now, and the sexy Matt Van Voorhis, who's been sponsoring just about as long. He's with Macias Insurance and German Insurance up in Jerseyville. Thanks to everybody out there for listening. Thanks to Dennis for making this great list of music going on around our town. Everybody get out this weekend and support some local music and art, including Cave Fight on Sunday.